There aren't that many captaincy options in Game Week 29 because there are only 4 fixtures in this blank game week. Nevertheless, I'm going to analyse the data so you can pick the best one. First up, we've got the obvious choice, Harry Kane. He nearly scored in his last match a couple of times, even when Spurs were down to 10 men. He hit the post and he had a goal ruled offside. In this video, we will identify if there is a challenger for Kane this week or not. I'm hearing a lot of people on Twitter saying, oh, don't overthink it, just captain Kane, but I think it's important to keep an open mind and don't captain someone just because of the ownership, captain someone because you think they're going to score more points. Out of Kane's teammates, you've got Son. He's got injury doubts, so I wouldn't captain him. Neither would I captain Bale because he's not getting enough minutes. We know that Kane's on penalties, and if we want to captain a Spurs player, it's going to be him. Second on the shortlist is Jesse Lingard. I thought I'd never say that this season on these captaincy videos, but nevertheless, he's in really good form. He's got the highest return points per 90 minutes on the shortlist, but to be fair, it is based on a small sample size of around about 500 minutes. Penultimately, we've got his teammate Mikel Antonio. We know what he's capable of. He's got a really high ceiling, and that's why he's on the shortlist. The last player on the shortlist is Rafinha. We know he's got the ability to score an assist. He might not be doing that recently, but you'll see later on in the video his underlying stats do replicate that. I would put Bamford on the shortlist, but there are injury doubts over him at the time this video is being recorded. And of course you do have the option to captain a defender like Dunk, but for me that's not my style. If you watch enough of my videos, you'll know that I like the explosive players with a high ceiling. Anyway, let's get straight into it and take a look at the underlying stats. As you can see, each player dominates at least one of the stats. In all fairness to Kane, he might not top the non-penalty expected goals or expected assists per 90 minutes, but he is consistent across the board to top the non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 minutes. Although Antonio is only a fraction behind him, he actually wins on the expected FPL return points per 90 minutes because we all know that you get more points for a goal than you do for an assist in FPL. Although the Hammers forward is topping the non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes on the shortlist, if you take a look at his goals per 90 minutes, he's really letting himself down. He needs to improve his finishing. On the other hand, his teammate Lingard has been very clinical. He's almost doubled his non-penalty expected goals per 90 minutes. This isn't sustainable to keep up this level of finishing, but it is impressive. He's averaging over 1 return per game played, but obviously, like we mentioned earlier, it is based on a small sample size. And Harry Kane has an even better return rate per 90 minutes by 0.1. It's fair to say that Kane wins the non-penalty underlying stats. Another thing that's in his favour is that he is nailed on penalties, unlike any other player on the shortlist. Not only has Kane averaged more than 1 return per game this season, he's also done it over the course of the last 5 matches. Lingard has been overperforming his underlying stats. Whilst he's got the worst non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 minutes over the course of the last 5 matches, he's got the second best return rate. Something else to take into consideration is the fact that he scored 2 goals in the match before this set of 5 fixtures. Rafinha has the best non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 minutes whilst he's got the lowest return rate. These figures themselves are very promising, although I don't like the fact that they're weighted heavily on expected assists rather than expected goals. Someone who does have the non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90 minute stats weighted heavily on expected goals is Antonio. Because of this, his underlying stats are actually much better than what they first seem. Out of all the players on the shortlist, no player has a standout fixture. Aston Villa are sat in the middle of the other 2 teams in terms of expected goals conceded, and they have the joint best goals against on the shortlist. But they do have the lowest probability of obtaining a clean sheet that really benefits Harry Kane. With Villa, Arsenal have the joint best goals against on the shortlist, and their expected goals conceded is the best as well. Fulham are the worst by 0.2 on both stats, and they conceded 3 goals in the last match. But to be fair, the last match was against Manchester City, and before that they've started to tighten up at the back. This is reflected through the clean sheet odds. They're up against a good attacking team in Leeds, yet they've got a better chance of obtaining a clean sheet than Arsenal. So with the discrepancy between the defensive stats and the clean sheet odds, I'd refer to the clean sheet odds this game week. Based on the probability, Kane has got the highest chance of scoring or assisting this game week. He's got the highest anytime goal scorer odds, and he's only 1% behind Rafinha in the highest anytime assisting odds. He tops the Fantasy Football Hub points predictions by 1.3 and the Fantasy Football Fixed points projections by 1.2. Whilst this video has been recorded, Spurs haven't yet played the fixture in the Europa League, so I'm not sure if Kane will feature in that match. I'd suggest keeping an eye out for his minutes in that one. Obviously, if he has reduced minutes, that's a big bonus, and if he doesn't feature at all, he will have an ample amount of resting time. Lingard didn't feature in West Ham's last match because it was against his parent club, so he's had plenty of time to prepare. Antonio and Rafinha have had a lot of time resting as well. The first player I'm going to eliminate off the shortlist is Jesse Lingard because he's not been performing well for as long. His underlying stats are the least promising, he's got the lowest odds of scoring or assisting, and in my opinion he's got the toughest opponents on the shortlist. The second player that I'm going to eliminate off the shortlist is Rafinha. I don't like the fact that his underlying stats are weighted heavily on assists, and with that there is a possibility of Bamford not playing. He's also got the lowest return rate over the course of the last 5 matches, plus he's ranked the 3rd lowest for probability of scoring or assisting and his points predictions. So now it's down to Harry Kane and Mikel Antonio. I'm tipping this player because he's got the best underlying stats and overall return rate over the course of the season and the last 5 matches. He's playing against a team who have the lowest chance of getting a clean sheet. He has the highest chance of scoring and the second highest chance of assisting by just 1%. And last but not least, he tops the Fantasy Football Hub points predictions and the Fantasy Football Fix points projections. He's the only big hitter on the shortlist, it's Harry Kane.